My name is Gavin. This is going to be a continuation of the MSP-based workflows that I have in n8n. Today we're going to be kind of solving the issue of Unifi sites going offline, but you not getting an alert that they went offline. So the reason this happens is that if you have, let's say, a site that uses like a UDM Pro, where the uh, Unifi controller is part of the firewall, the issue you get is that, let's say, if the ISP goes down or the device overheats or something like that, has a critical hardware failure, you're not getting an alert that the device went down because it being the controller, it's not able to communicate to the outside world that, hey, I'm offline now. So you will get an alert along the lines of, XYZ location has restored after a brief outage, is I believe how it's worded, which is cool and all. But like, let's say, like in our case, we have our clients that also get the alerts. So, they'll get a notification that one of their branch offices, let's say, restored after an outage, and they're going to send us a message like, "Hey, did you guys know it was even down in the first place?" or something like that. And it's like, not really. Our only way of monitoring it at that point is we're kind of just waiting for you to complain that it's down. Because we're not going to have somebody just like staring at the Unified portal 24/7, right? So using the new, it was like pretty much like just recently released, relatively recently released the API functionality with Unifi. We can now monitor sites if they're connected or disconnected, and so this is a way of using n8n to alert on those fields to get better statistics of your uptime. So um, this is pretty much set up just like the Meraki workflow. A lot of similarities. The only unfortunate thing with this is that I can't show location specific. Like I can't show how the data actually will run through this, only because the only way I've found so far is to pull all sites. Um, So like when I run this HTTPS command, it's going to basically pull all of our client data back all at once. And yeah, I don't really want to show all of their public IP addresses in this video, so I won't be doing actual running of the workflow in this video, but I will walk through how everything works and in a way that will work for you. So let's get started. The schedule trigger I have currently running at a very aggressive 5 seconds. You can lower that down or make it longer, however much you like. You can go by days. You really wouldn't want to be by days. You want it to be like by minutes, hours, seconds. So you can make it a lot less aggressive than I have it now, but that's just how I had it to test today. So you're going to use the get HTTPS request to the api.ui.com EA hosts. And that's going to pull in all of your hosts. And then for your headers, they use the X API key header and the accept application JSON. This is where your API key is going to go. Look at the Unifi portal real quick. You get a API key if you're in the site manager on the far left, the very last option is the API column or icon, and that's where you will generate your own API key. And that's once you get that, that's what you will enter into this field in order to authenticate and pull all your hosts. So once you get all of your hosts, it's going to basically give you everything for each host. And once you pull this back, I mean, if you have more than like 3 locations, I mean, you're gonna have like 1,000 items in this list almost. Like you get a lot of data when you pull in each location. So this just kind of pulls out the only necessary things we need, like the IP address. It's gonna be the public IP of the location. The host name. The host name is gonna be the name of the Unified controller or the UDM Pro you're using, and then its state. And the reported state field is how we're going to be monitoring whether it's okay or not okay. So connected or disconnected. This will filter out your problematic sites. So just kind of going through the code. this first bit here I have added because we have a couple sites that are staying offline. So you can add their IP addresses this way, and we won't get alerted if they go offline because we know they're going to be offline, right? So and you can add as many IPs to this kind of list here. Um, you know, you wouldn't have the comma just for one, but if you're adding more than one, then you'll have the comma and you'll just kind of list them all out. If you have a site that isn't named, or that the for some reason I've noticed that our self-hosted on like a Docker container or a VM, like a Linux VM, if you're hosting the Unifi controller that way, for some reason the API isn't passing along the host name, you're going to get this example-domain.ui.com as the host name. You'll still get the IP address and its status, but the host name for some reason isn't coming across. Could be my error, but that's just what I'm noticing right now. Which is why I left this here, just to remind myself to talk about it. This kind of just goes through the filter, whether it's disconnected or not, and then it'll return the same three variables if they are in a disconnected state. And then just like the Meraki workflow, we will create a host name or look for a host name alert. This way, if we've already messaged our group chat or already created a ConnectWise ticket, because this alert to Teams is how I have it now, but this is going to eventually be switched out probably tomorrow when I get the time to a HTTPS post node, and it's going to be creating tickets in ConnectWise Manage rather than just messaging us in Teams. But for now, that's how it is. The add parameter field, just how, I literally copy and pasted this from the Meraki workflow, but I changed just the hostname portion. So, all of the commented data is just the same. Teams to our dispatch. Setting up the Microsoft Teams node is fairly simple with n8n's documentation. You can just click the docs section and you'll get the documentation for it. You just create a registered app in your Azure AD. Once you've got that, you'll fill out the client info and you'll be able to get connected. And once you will need a user account with at least a Teams license. They don't have to be like Microsoft Business Premium or anything like that. Business Standard. They just need to have a Teams license. We have our own company bot that its purpose is literally just a message in Teams. So it's just basically a service account with a Teams license that I run all of our Teams-based stuff through n8n. So you run your chat message, create in whatever group you want. So you can do it one-on-one. You can do it to a group of people. You'll just name that group. This is the dispatch chat we have. So that's the group of all the members in our service team that'll get the message, hey, this location is now offline. And this is how I have it currently written. Obviously, this is completely customizable to you. Unifi site, XYZ name, XYZ IP address. I have parentheses here just to kind of separate the IP. I think it looks a little better to have it in the parentheses, but up to you. Has gone into and it'll only be the disconnected state, but I always have the state listed just in case for some reason it's different. I like everything to be as fluid as it can, just in case a parameter is different. I don't want to have it hard coded to say disconnected and it come across something else. And maybe one day they update how the API works. It'll come in and say, hey, this site's gone to a connected state. Well, I know that's wrong, so I'll have to go in here and look at it. So just a way of keeping everything fluid. But that's how it's a very quick rundown of how the workflow works. Really, all you need is just your API key for Unifi. One thing I did not go over is your setting. I'm using the exact same database as my Meraki because the way we're storing the variables are named different, so they're not going to be pulling the same data, so you can store them in the same database. It's not going to overlap or anything like that. So same thing, the only thing I have to change is just the variables here, because we're pulling in the host name instead of the network name in Meraki. So, and then you set your TTL, this is in seconds. The reason the TTL is set is kind of how it sets up here. it logs the alert for 3 hours and then kills it in the database. That way, in 3 hours 1 minute, if the site is still offline, it'll create another message and we'll get a second alert that, hey, you guys haven't fixed it, fix it. Yeah, as I said, quick rundown. I'll have this up in the n8n templates and should be good to go. Any questions, just comment them below and I'll be happy to help. See you guys.